good evening, family. How are you doing this evening? I am so excited to be on with you to have another time of pep talk. It's your girl, Ree, and listen, we have so much. All June, we are honoring fathers. We know that Father's Day comes up later on this month, but just like before, and we are going to do this every year that God allows us to, we are honoring men, mentors, fatherhood, all June long. And guess what? I got my co-host with me. He's my husband. He is a father himself. This is Mr. Murray. What up? How you doing? Pretty sure he got it. Pretty sure he got it. Good. Very got something quicker than that. We live. Okay. But anyway, we got a wonderful night in store for you. We are going to be talking about fatherhood, mentoring, and all of that. But I'm going to let you open us up in prayer.
God, for this day, and thank you for your many blessings that you pour upon us each and every day. I ask, Lord God, that you would have your way in everything that we do, everything that we say, that you will order our steps. Lord God, I just ask that as the listeners listen in, Lord God, that your Holy Spirit ministers to them, Lord God. And Lord God, I just ask that you ultimately have your way in everything that we do. In Jesus' name, amen.
You still there, Ree?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. You went quiet for a minute.
Awesome. Well, we're going to take a quick musical break, and when we get back, we are talking fatherhood, mentorship, all of those different things. So enjoy, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to Good Show.
It's Shay Sarah, man. Look, you ever wonder what we're here for, really? I mean, is it just me or does something not make sense? There's got to be more to life, man. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Check it. Is it possible we belong to a master who longs for us to trust him as the answer? Cause a Big Bang can't creatively design. It doesn't have intentions cause it doesn't have a mind. In orbital rotations, how the planets are aligned. Too far left or right and the planets all collide. A seed must die in the dirt for it to thrive. Then remain buried in the earth and stay alive. Cells know just when and how to reproduce. So a cow won't have a fin and a fish won't have a hoop. A 10-pound bird is free to fly to and from. The human version weighs about 500 tons. New species, new planet, scientists discovers like they get to see God up close and live in color. I wonder if I only have the power to create because it's in my blood from my father's DNA. What if he's real? What if he lives and breathes and he's just waiting on me? What if he's real? What if he hears and speaks and he's just waiting on me? What if he's real? What if he moves and sees and he's just waiting on me? What if he's real? What if he lives and breathes? I only got one life to get it right. What if there's a God who created the perfect plan for me? And it don't involve getting crunk up in this dancery. All my frustrated impatience from not having things was life outside of the palace. Why my dad is king, a royal priesthood. He wants to treat me good because he just loves to look after me. I knew some saved, but I couldn't tell the difference. They acknowledge his existence, but were hiding from repentant. That made me ignore the tug on my heart faithfully, so God made it blatant. There's a Satan and he's chasing me. I didn't believe I was a heathen that needed someone to pray for me. Long story short, I'm a good report. Thank you, G. I've been on that side, I've been in that ride, tipsy and high, pretending I could physically drive, lifting my eyes. I prayed he was real in that moment. Then I made it home and still did what I wanted. What if he's real? What if he lives and breathes and he's just waiting on me? What if he's real? What if he hears and speaks and he's just waiting on me? What if he's real? What if he moves and sees and he's just waiting on me? What if he's real? What if he catastrophe, so I had to read his chapters. It was nagging me. I read about green pastures, gold and shiny things, alabaster on the toes of a mighty king. Yet and still I found out about free will and why he gives us the freedom to do as we feel. If he made me love him, is he out of obligation?
That song is What If He's Real by Shay Sarai. I like that. I really like that. You like that, Mr. Murray? We got to work on that. But that was Shay Sarai with What If He's Real. Listen, we're going to have a good time chatting, a good time going. Mr. Murray, let me know if you're ready.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, y'all. So listen, we are talking fatherhood, mentorship, mentoring, all those different things. And for those that don't know who you are, please share a little bit about yourself, sir.
My name is Dave Murray. I'm the husband of Serena. A lot of people know her as Ree. I'm a father that loves his kids, loves his wife, go to work and provide for my family and try to be a blessing to others and do what God has for me to do, what the Word says, and try to do my best.
Yeah, I hear that. And you know what? I can definitely attest, as we're gearing up towards Father's Day and just honoring men, I wanted to have you on because how can I do this without first honoring my husband? And so you've been on before and you're on again, but I just wanted to say thank you for all that you do. And I just want to talk about it a little bit because I, as a woman, in honoring men, we're going to be doing this all month long. You're co-hosting with me, so this is us getting into the thick of things. We're going to keep this up. But you know, there's no way that I can fully understand what it takes to be a father, what it takes to be, you know, a husband, a mentor, a man. And I just wanted to, you know, I see how you are with the boys, you know, and how you are, you know, with our young boys at home, all of our children. I see how you are. What inspiration do you have to be who you are? Like, what do you think about? What makes you do what you do in being the father that you are?
Well, I always look at one time I was a little boy, and my father wasn't always there. And I found myself doing some of the similar things, not being there as much as I wanted to be there for my kids. So when I had my boys, I just wanted to make sure that I was there for them. I know it's not always about what you can buy them and do all this, but they get stuff all the time because they always want something. But at the same time, I want to be there for them and spend time with them because I think it plays a big part in the development of young men. Other men being around them, being able to positively influence them.
Yeah. And that's really huge, the positive influences that are had. You know, as a man and as a father to your boys, how do you feel about other men fathering and being, you know, a role model or a figure for them? Like, how does that feel for one man to the next? Like, do you believe it's necessary? You know how people say it takes a village. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I feel like you have to want to be a father, first and foremost. And what plays another big part is what did you grow up seeing? If you grew up and you didn't see a father and you seen the mother from being father and mother, then it takes on a different role. I was raised by my mom for a little while and then raised by my grandmother. But I did have a male figure. So I had the opportunity to see what my role was as a male. And as time went on, I did see that it took more than me, my grandmother, and my grandfather, because they did what they could. But if it wasn't for other people being around, basically, they gave me a lot of influence, and other people did too. So it does take a village to raise a child. I feel like because you're not you don't have eyes everywhere, so you're not going to see what they're doing outside, maybe because you're inside or you're at work. So I think it's a great idea for everyone, how they used to do in the old days, where some people, if they seen the child doing something wrong, that person might spank their behind, then they might go home and get another spanking, where back then it was you spare the rod, you spoil the child, and it wasn't too much sparing the rod. You probably get a whooping there and at home.
Right. Yeah. And I noticed that, I noticed that, especially when we were coming up and even before then, the difference, even in the stature of men, we're African American, but even in the stature of strong black men, in that, and in coming up and seeing that, I believe, that we all matter, and all of that. I really do. But I also believe that you have to, our sons and men who are coming after have to see something that looks like them doing something positive. And a lot of times, and we talk about this a lot of times in society, we see images of just garbage, like on TV, or the roles that, are played and the things that are glamorized out in the streets, coming from a place, and this is up to you if you want to go into this, but the difference of how things are, where you're kind of living your life and doing street stuff, opposed to, doing that 9 to 5, doing for family, all of those different things. Like, it's a lot, it's a lot to look at. So I agree with you on, having more than one, having something to look at, something to aspire to. Like, me and you are watching this, and a lot of people are watching it now when they see us. This he hasn't made it as far as I have, but just, in a lot of what this is, and a lot of what was perpetuated, I don't know if you've seen the scene when it was talking about how the term they are out there, and we don't see the fathers and stuff like that. What, in regards to, like, keeping and instilling values and keeping, our young men, our children off of the streets, what do you feel as a father? What is your input to young kids that you see, including your own, to keep them from going that route of the street?
When I look at it, I want to prevent my kids from going down the same road that I've been down. I've had times as a child that if I didn't see certain things, I feel like things would have been a little different, or if things were done a little different as an adult now, that things could have played out a lot different. So I would definitely, as far as seeing the role models outside, because I had positive role models and I had negative role models. And a lot of times it's easy to be drawn in by the negative thing,
right.
Because so you see it everywhere. If you're in school, people may be aspiring to be everything except for something positive. I think it's very important to try to make sure what they're listening to, what they're watching, because it influences the kids very easily.
That is so true. Like, with our boys, and I don't know if any of you out here are parents, they're into this game, and I'm not going to call it, but Fortnite. It starts with an F. Really, I was trying not to, because I don't want to give anybody any promotion. You'll learn. It's going to be longer. But the thing about it is, they have those headphones on. And one day, you remember when I was sharing with you, one day, the headphones weren't plugged in, and the boys had went outside, and so the game was kind of just playing. And from that, I heard all types of language, all types of things, to the point where it was like, let's not use those headphones. We need to know what's going on. Our children need to be, fed those positive things, and they need to see positive male figures. Listen, we are tuned in to Pep Talk with Ree, and we're talking fatherhood, mentoring, and the things that we've learned along the way. I'm talking with Mr. Murray, my husband, and we will be right back. We're going to take a quick musical break. If you are enjoying what you're listening to, make sure to like, share, love, put your comments in. I want to say hi to Tina Hobson, Superwoman. I want to say hi to Stephen Marshall. Eric Holmes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And Miss Tina says, speak on the father who is absent in the home. We will be touching on that when we come back. Listen, enjoy the music. We'll be right back.
Drumfest 2019 is coming up. You don't want to miss it with Marcus Brown, L.J. Simmons, Honey Wilson, Andre Stronner, Corey Drummer Boy, Johnson II, Scott Herstenstein, Robert Fobbs Jr., Karan Harrison, Larry Simmons, Chance Sylvia, Ronnie Thomas, Great Suave Brown, Aisha Galler. It's going to be our 9th annual Drumfest 2019, August 24th. Doors open at 5:30 p.m. Session starts at 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Where Fresh Wind Ministries, 3660 North Rancho, number 108, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89130. You don't want to miss it. We would like to thank the following sponsors: 24-Hour Gospel, Nevada Help Desk, FOB Productions, Different Empire, Clark Gabriel Photography, SOS Radio, with Master of Ceremonies, Tempest Blue. Presented by Drummers United International.com.
You are holy. Yes, he does. My God requires, yes, he is, a holy and sanctified life. Yes, he does. My God requires a holy and sanctified life. Yes, he does. So I just live according to his word. Hey, yeah. You are. I'm a living witness that he is. He will stand by his word. Every word that he said. He's a holy God. Yeah. You're a holy God. Yes, you are. Late in the midnight hour, when I don't have nobody to talk to, I can call on him. Yes, I can. Yeah. I'm a living witness that he sent by his word. When the doctor said I wouldn't live to see 1990, and God has given me 29 more years, I got a right to give him glory. Hey, Lord. Yes, you are. In my secret closet, I go down on my knees, and I just tell him he's a holy God.
Worldwide Podcast.
That song was You Are Holy by my sis, Cassandra Webb. Listen, we are talking fatherhood, mentors, and the things learned along the way. My sis, Tina Hodgson, the superwoman, actually had said, talk about that father that's absent from the home. And I can share about that, and I'm sure Mr. Murray can do the same thing. From my experience, it's very interesting. My father died when I was 4 years old, and I've shared that with some of you all on different occasions. He passed when I was 4 years old, and what that did for me is it left an area void of learning how to respect men, to honor men, to see the value of a man in the home. I saw a very strong woman, my mom, an independent woman, and one who took care of the family and all of that. She never remarried. She didn't date in front of me or anything. And I didn't see a father. Now, I had, my grandfather, and I had uncles that I saw in the ministry, but someone who was very intricate in my life and shaping my life, the lack of the presence of a male figure in my life kind of jaded me. It didn't appropriately prepare me for instance, dating. Didn't prepare me for that, for how to deal with the male species, so to speak. It didn't prepare me for marriage because I didn't see it together. It didn't prepare me. I saw men on TV, but it wasn't real. It was a character. So for me, it really, the things that I believe and that I see even in, my husband sharing, those things are vital. Like Mr. Murray, when it comes to, I know you spoke of, your father not always present. You had your grandfather and for a period of time. But how did that affect you?
How did it affect me? Well, I would always look at males, and because when I left my mom, I was adopted. Later on, I was taken from my mom, and my dad wasn't there, but my dad's mom adopted me. So I would always look for a male figure. And when I actually moved my grandmother, my grandfather was there, and I received a lot of correction, I received chastisement, not that often, but I would. And he was helping me and become a man. I would say that time that I was able to spend with him was a great time, but the time that I didn't have a male figure, I was real young at the time, so I was still trying to figure things out and just going along with the flow of things, going to school, coming home, seeing mom, and just going off being bad. But I feel like with having a father there would have been something, would have gave me a different balance, and I would have seen things and learned things that could carry me on as a young teenager and help me on my way. But not having one there, I feel like it has to be some type of male figure, because I'm pretty sure we have either uncles or we have we maybe go to church and just someone that can mentor him, spend a little time with him, because I did enjoy spending time with my uncle. He would take me, and my dad wasn't there, but my uncle would come by, and from time to time I would spend time with him, or when he came down to have church, I would see him, and he would always encourage me and speak different things into me, and a lot of things I still remember to this day.
That's huge. You know what? For me, like, I can spot the different ones, that were there, but I never had it to go home with. You know what I mean? So it's like you could see someone else's dad and be like, okay, you might see someone doing it wrong, you might see someone doing it right, but I could never take that home. So I didn't know that experience, of that father. And it only came from me. And I said this testimony on Pep Talk a couple of times. It only came from me when I was going through in a certain relationship, and God wanted to make some serious changes in my life. And he was letting me know that a lot of my issues were because I didn't respect not only men, but I didn't respect God. God created him. And I didn't respect him because I didn't know him. And I didn't honor men as God had put, those things in position, for a husband and all of that. I could never do that if I didn't honor God first. And so he started switching, my mindset around and letting me know the importance and significance of why he created a male. And I know that society, I talk about society a lot because, like I said, I got it on pause right now. We're going to resume it when we're done with this broadcast. But even when you're looking at movies or a series such as like When They See Us, stuff like that, or stuff like that, when you're looking at that and you see what goes behind the scenes of, the politics and just the campaign, even in the news, right? We're going to say this and we're going to push this out and we're going to hide that, and all of those different things. Society paints a certain picture, and a lot of times if we're not truly focused and truly just paying attention to the spirit behind it, we'll get caught off guard and just flow with whatever it is that's put in our face. And for me, it wasn't always the great images of what men were, bad experiences, different things like that. God had to change that for me and show me, no, I didn't create it to be this mess. I created men to be strong, men to be this, men to be that. And you remember when I was carrying our Elkanah, our son, that I was led to Proverbs where it continued to speak, my son, my son, my son, speaking life. But it is so significant, I believe, the male figure. It took for God to show me that. But it's so, the male figure is so significant in our lives. I wanted to ask you, because I'm talking about TV shows and stuff, one of the questions I had was, growing up, we had a lot of shows where we would see the family. all in the family, and married with children, and even Sanford and Son, and there's different family roles, and the Cosby Show, all of that. Were there any male roles that you saw in that stood out to you? That maybe you looked at that and was like, I like that. I like. I wish he was my dad or whatever. Like, is there any show that stood out to you that had that impact on you coming up?
Well, I would say I did enjoy the shows, but looking back, I don't remember. I was always having fun, and I would always. It's not like the kids do nowadays. A lot of kids sit in the house, play video games. It was a difference. If you watch TV, in the afternoon after the lights went out and you came in the house. You wasn't sitting in the house. You were cleaning up, and once you got finished cleaning up, you could go outside. And so whenever I did see those shows, yes, I did like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and the role
Uncle
model,
Phil.
Uncle Phil, like Uncle Phil. And I like what I seen, but at the same time, I knew it was made up. So the reality of it was, oh, that's nice. But to me, it was television, something made up. So it wasn't really reality.
I get that. Well, this month we have some great guests in store who are going to be sharing a lot with us on fatherhood, mentoring, things learned along the way. We're going to be talking about the legacy of our last name. I have my guest, Brian Bullock, who will be coming, Pastor Brian Bullock, who will be sharing and chatting with us. I have Dr. J, the counselor, who is going to be coming through and sharing some nuggets. All month long, we are honoring our men, honoring our fathers, and just taking the time to switch the stereotype, and let's just talk positively. We know that every time we come together, this is pep talk. I don't care what it is that you've seen and that has been built up or that anybody has told you, any negative thing that was said. We are all created with value, and each of us has a significant role. The beauty in it when we're dealing with fathers and men is that role of the protector, the provider, that role, especially in the married household, duplicates or puts on earth what is first established in heaven, which is the covering, the fatherhood. Just like how we look to God our Father, and He covers up us and supplies our needs and takes care of us. That is the role of the caretaker that God has instilled in our men that then begin to cover and take care of their own families. We all have a role, and it's significant and paramount that we acknowledge the right thing and not the negative stereotypes that come through. My last question for you, Mr. Murray, is this. What are some things that you've learned along the way in fatherhood, whether it be from your father? I know you're really close with Uncle Curtis, or whether it just be through life. As a father, what are some important things that you've learned along the way that you want to share with those that are listening, whether they be young dads? Our son is about to be a father next month, so we're going to be grandparents. What is it that we can share with those that are walking in this mantle of fatherhood, strong men and mentors?
Sometimes the road may not be easy, but as a man, God has given us a great responsibility to bless us to be a father. First and foremost is a blessing, because it's many people that do not have the opportunity to be a father because of different reasons. So when I look at God thought enough about me to allow me to be a father. So I don't take the role lightly because he doesn't take his role lightly as being my father. And at the end of the day, I want my kids to be able to look back and the legacy that I leave with them. I don't want it to be, oh, my dad was never there. I barely knew him. I don't have a relationship with him. Because at the end of the day, if my child told me that, I would feel bad, even though I may be able to give a reason. But at the end of the day, I don't think my reason, because if I really wanted to, I would have made time. I would have spent time with my child. Because I'm a firm believer you make time for what you want.
Exactly.
And so if you want to make time for your child, just don't make excuse. Make time. Because at the end of the day, they remember the times that you spend with them. I remember times that I've spent with my father, and we didn't do anything spectacular, but I have many memories, not as a child, but as a teenager, I have plenty of memories of it. And
right, I get them.
I would just encourage all men that have children. I've had issues where I couldn't speak to my child, different things. I gave it to the Lord, and the Lord opened up doors. I guess say, follow God, and as you follow God, it will show you how to be the father that he intended for us to be.
That's it. And I like that because it wasn't necessarily all the examples that you emulate that allows for you to be the father that you are, but it's your relationship with God to be the best. And also, men out there, my husband said it first, so I'm just backing what he said. I'm his little cheerleader. No excuses. Make time, because the children will get to a point where they'll see, and you want them to see the best. You're their example, and your honesty, your time is valuable. It feeds and seeds into them so that they can be who they're supposed to be. This is a part of building them up and all of that. Jerry Royce says he takes his kids to the gym. You know, make time, because that time is monumental and fundamental in their upbringing. Just like they got to eat, just like they got to go to the bathroom, just like all those different things, you've got to instill some things in them. Mama can't do it by herself. And so make sure that you make time. And then the last thing I want to share with you all on Pep Talk, my husband, Mr. Murray, said this. It wasn't when he was young that he had a lot of those memories and times with his dad. It was when he was older. I want to share with you all, and my husband, and he'll share more of the testimony in the weeks to come, that he wasn't always present. He wasn't always present. But here's the thing. It's never too late. So if you're listening right now and you haven't spent time, you haven't made time, you made some bad decisions, maybe you've been locked up, maybe you put other people first, relationships, other things have come before your kids, it is never too late. Don't ever stop trying, ever. They're your seed. They're your legacy, walking around in this earth. Whatever you got to do, find them. It's your job. You are the parent. You are the adult. You are the father. You are the mentor. It is your seed. If somebody who has been entrusted to you, let them know that you love them, even if there's nothing else and no response. It's not what other people do to you. It's what you do to them. But if you have a responsibility over someone's life, it's not based on how good they are to you. That's not how God does us, because we do some foul stuff when it comes to God. It's not based on how good we are. It's based on the responsibility and assignment that's over our life. So listen, I thank you all so much for tuning in to Pep Talk with Ree. I want to let you know that my sis, Lakeisha Mosley, is coming up next, and after that, Shay Sands. But listen, this is coming up, the Lakeisha Mosley TV show and Positive Power, XXI Christian Media. They'll be taping in Centerville, Maryland, in the Juneteenth Day, celebrating African American Freedom Day in America on June 19th, 1865. That's Juneteenth, y'all. It's a festival with free food vendors and live gospel entertainment. I want y'all to stay connected with Positive Power, and if you're interested and want to go, then make sure to make that happen. We also have the taping of my journey with my other sis on the Positive Power Network. This is with Paula G. It's in Baltimore, Maryland on July 27th and 28th, in Atlanta, Georgia on October 11th. If you are wanting to be a part of this, contact Paula G at www.paulagvoice.com. That's www.paula-voice.com. All right. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Listen, Mr. Murray, we're going to be back at it. You ready? We're going to get our practice in. But I love you all. We got some great guests in store for the rest of this month. Y'all make sure to continue to stay connected to the Positive Power Network. Thank you, Jerry Royce, for being the blessing that you are. Y'all have a wonderful night. God bless.
You are listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast. Can you feel the power? Can you feel the power? Feel the power of Double XI.
Positive Power 21.org Internet Radio.
You are listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast.
When you're in the hospital, you need health insurance. But one thing about God, when you're with Him, you have a blessed assurance of His healing power. Come on and sing.
I have a blessed assurance,
Show enough
that you are able to keep me from falling.
Keep me from falling.
You are my strength.
When I get
weak,
you build me up.
You build me up.
When I'm down, this is what you do.
You turn my frown upside.
Blessed
assurance. You are the God that healeth me. I have a blessed assurance.
Do you have a blessed assurance?
You are able
to know that God is able to keep you from falling.
You are my strength.
He is my strength.
When I get weak, you build me up.
Yes, you do. You build me up.
When I'm down,
this is what He does.
You turn my frown upside.
Blessed assurance.
You are the God that healeth me. I have a blessed assurance.
God, you are my healer.
You my healer.
You keep me from sickness.
And disease. When I'm in need,
this is what He does.
You answer me.
And He gives me peace.
Give me peace.
All my nights.
And days. I'll give you praise.
Blessed assurance.
You are the God that healeth me.
In spite of all the wrong that I've done, you still love me.
You still love me.
You still love me.
You still love me.
In spite of what I've done, you gave your only Son to prove your unfailing love.
Oh,
you saved me. You raised me. You forgave me.
You're the God that healeth me.
You love me. You raised me. You are Rapha.
You're the God that healeth me.
Listen, in spite of all the wrong that I've done, you still love me.
You still love me.
You still love me.
You still love me.
In spite of what I've done, you gave your only Son
to prove your unfailing love. Oh,
you forgave me. Lord, you saved me. You are the God.
You're the God that healeth me.
You are with me. You are my Savior.
are the God that healeth.
You are listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast.
When I come into your presence with singing and thanksgiving, I bask as the Spirit take control. Lord, I know that you are willing and are able to take my pain and bless my soul. You came to take my pain and bless my soul. When I come into your presence with singing and thanksgiving, I bask as the Spirit take control. Lord, I know that you are willing and are able to take my pain and bless my soul. You came to take my pain and bless my soul. Be made whole. Be made. That's what Jesus wants to do. I want you to be made whole. Be made whole. Be made whole. Listen right here. The man at the pool, the man at the gate, the woman with the blood disease. They were touched by the healing power of God. He'll touch you too and make you free. Are you glad about that? Yes. He'll touch you too and make you free. Be made whole. Be made. Be made whole. Yeah. Be made. Be made. Jesus wants you to be set free from your sickness and infirmity. Be made. Be made whole. Be made. You don't have to stay in that position anymore, 'cause He has come to make you whole. This very hour. Now is the day. Now is the time. Jehovah has come to give you power. Give you what you say over your mind. Sickness and disease. So get up. So rise up and rise up. Yeah. Be made whole. Be made. Get up from your situation. Yeah. Be made whole. Your spirit, your soul, your body can be healed. Be made. Jesus has come to set you free. Be made. Be made whole. Be made. God, we give you the glory. God, we give you the honor. Your name is great. We extol you, Lord God. Thank you for your healing power in our spirit, soul, and body. Thank you for the sacrifice of the cross. Oh, you did it for us, God, and we honor you. We want to be made whole. Be made whole. Hallelujah.
You are listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast.
Citizen, where the healing waters flow. Citizen, where the healing waters flow. I am a citizen, where the healing waters flow. Ba-ba, ba-ba. Citizen, where the healing waters flow. Citizen, where the healing waters flow. I am a citizen, where the the sun. I said